Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. I'm very pleased to have Dr. Matthew Brown with us here today. He's the founder of Corrective Physical Therapy, where he helps former athletes, postpartum women, and high performers get back to the life they love without being limited by pain. Pain sucks. All right, welcome to the show, Matthew.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest reality drivers for humans, isn't it? Is pain.
Yeah, 100%.
In fact, I think at a philosophical level, I think some people say that pain is the only motivational structure, right? Is the removal of pain. Joy is really, just not feeling the lack of joy, right? Type of thing.
Yeah.
But
pain is a very good motivator for lots of different things, or demotivator, depending upon how you look at it.
Yes, right. So I've been alive long enough to have enough ailments to know that there's thresholds where it hurts enough and you go, all right, I got to go take care of this.
Yes.
I thought I could live with it, and I thought it was getting better, but it's not.
That's definitely a good way to put it. Threshold is when people actually decide to take action.
Right. So where's your clinic and how long have you been running it?
Yeah, so we are in South Scottsdale. We actually have two clinics right now. South Scottsdale, just 5 minutes south of Old Town, and then our other locations in Arcadia. So the South Scottsdale location's a standalone clinic. It's just us. The Arcadia location's actually out of a gym. So they built us a space in the back.
Right.
So we have a little space in the gym, but then we have access to the whole gym and all their equipment.
Nice. Okay, so you can walk around and get just the right routine for the whatever ails them.
Yeah, and that way it's, the equipment overhead is way less,
right?
Even though our space is smaller, it's just it works out great. But we've so we started 2.5 years ago. So January of 23 was when I opened. Just in South Scottsdale. We opened the Arcadia location last November. So almost a year now. Okay.
So this was all like a post-COVID launch.
Yes. Definitely post-COVID. Luckily, when everything's coming back up on the stronger end.
Right. Okay. Excellent. One of my good friends was part of Foothills, and they had an equity event. Is that kind of how the industry is shaped up now? You grow a clinic and you grow a practice, and then somebody wants to buy it. Or is this something you want to do in the long term? What's a little bit of the exit plan?
Yeah, no, great question. So yes, traditional physical therapy, you build a clinic and then you usually sell to private equity that then takes over lots of clinics, and then they grow a big corporate clinic. And that's actually kind of dominating the market of PT and just healthcare in general. Right? They're doing that with primary offices. And
my wife's practice got bought by private equity years ago.
Yeah, so that's kind of the objective of small business owners in the healthcare space, is to then sell bigger, because then they can grow it and then they can, get out from under it. That's actually not my objective. I have kind of a personal vendetta against how the insurance companies are dictating healthcare just in general, but especially PT. We reimbursed very shitty, and I don't like how they dictate healthcare and decide for us what is and what isn't for what how we're treating clients.
So cash pay?
I'm a cash pay clinic, and so my big dream of scaling is actually to create a ownership within the company, employee ownership, to take over eventually from me.
Okay,
so that's kind of then. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning. I'm pretty flexible on where I'll end up, but the overarching goal is to sell to people that actually want to continue the same type of journey and experience for the clients. So instead of selling to private equity, who will then flip it into a insurance clinic,
Right.
I want to keep it what I wanted to raise in the first place. So that's
Okay.
kind of my overarching goal.
Okay. Okay. And with that vision, which I like that, that's awesome. It, do you have plans for grooming somebody to come and kind of take over at some point when you, I don't know, 10, 20 years, what's your exit plan and stuff, but I don't know how that model, I mean, and you have to be flexible. It'll change over time and
Yeah.
as the industry changes, but, I don't know how big of a clinic, I guess. Maybe let's start there. How big of a clinic or clinics are you hoping to have?
Yeah. So I have a boutique type style clinic. So it's like 1,200 square feet, and it can have about 4 therapists in it.
Okay.
But the experience is supposed to be more boutique in nature. So very one-on-one, very more intimate, more structured. So you get the most quality out of the experience and it feels very personalized. So
Okay.
I want to end up doing the like 5 to 10 year goal is to have 5 of these clinics with 4-ish therapists in each. The overarching
Okay.
would be to get to like 10 clinics and be dominant throughout the whole valley. With that goal, it would be grooming like 4 or 5 people who all have a stake in the company, and then at the exit plan would then buy out the rest of it from me
Okay.
to then take over. That's kind of
Right.
my vision as of right now. Obviously that could change where,
Sure.
maybe it's 1 or 2 people that really want to dive into it. But that's kind of what I'm looking at now, is to grow it
Okay.
that way. And then each clinic, the owner or like the manager of that clinic, my thought process is to have them buy into the company and get direct proportions for each clinic.
Okay. 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 What got you into PT?
So most people get into it because they got injured and then they go to
Yep.
PT and they love it.
Same with chiropractors. I know a lot of them are like, oh, I got
Yeah.
hurt younger. And I was like, well, this is great. I want to do this for other people.
Yeah, and that's how most people end up there. I mean, I did get injured a couple times. I played college basketball, but that's actually not what drove me in there. I actually was a horrible client, and like I showed up once and I didn't go back. But I was a business major first,
Okay.
and I hated it. I hated my classes. I was like, it was boring to me, and it just wasn't intriguing at the time. Uh, so then I really dove into what I'm good at and what I like to do. And it was helping people and fitness, exercise, sports. So then
Okay.
I trialed like a couple different areas. It was,
Okay.
you do a strength coach, you be an
Right.
athletic trainer, or you be a physical therapist.
Okay.
I wanted to go strength coach wasn't enough. Wasn't there's not the pain point's not high enough there. Like that I
Okay.
wanted to be there. Athletic training, I didn't like didn't like being on field and the hours and kind of just the how your life would be as an athletic trainer.
Okay.
I didn't like
Okay.
that lifestyle. So I went down the physical therapy realm and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I loved all the classes, the human body and how it worked mechanically. All that was super intriguing to me.
Yeah.
And
It's quite the
mixed with
puzzle,
the
right?
yes, yeah, exactly, very puzzle like, and you really have to think and dive into how to fix things, but then you get to help people get past
Mhm.
this pain point that can really derail someone's life. And then I got a job in a outpatient neuro clinic. So we were helping lots of people that had strokes or spinal cord injuries. And it was absolutely amazing to see little changes with how big of an impact it was for these people. Because there are little changes where I was like, if it had a spinal cord injury, just to be a little bit more independent went
Mhm.
so far.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I started to get a big passion for it, even though I didn't go down the neural realm. It definitely was a very intriguing, and it brought me into the physical therapy profession.
Okay, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it sounds like a good mix of all of your interests and strengths, and it sort
Yep.
of scratches that itch of a little bit of the physical side with the business, with the helping people. Great stuff.
Yep.
Great stuff. What are some common misconceptions about it, right? People do they come in with any strange ailments or weird things that aren't in your wheelhouse?
Uh, yeah. So I actually have a story of a guy. It was crazy because they tell us in PT school this stuff can happen, but it's like of so low of a percentage. It was, I don't know, like 0.01% that you would ever see this in your career.
Okay.
It was like 6 months into me opening the business. This guy came in and he said he was traveling, so he wasn't from here. And he told me that he was having like, he thought maybe like sciatica pain down his right leg.
Okay.
And he comes in and I do like 5 minutes into it. I'm like, this isn't sciatica. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
He couldn't like move his leg in a synchronous manner. It was everything was moving as a unit, but he couldn't do separate movements. So he couldn't move his ankle from his knee. And so I
Huh.
asked more questions and I was like, hey man, I don't know exactly what's going on, but you got to go to the ER. Like, I'm pretty sure you got,
Stroking.
I thought he had a blood clot.
Hmm.
Found out he went to Mayo, and because I told him I was like they have a really good ER there, so he went to Mayo, and I get a call from him the next day, and he was telling me how I saved his life. He had a brain bleed, and so he was actually supposed to fly the next day. Most likely would have died on the plane.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Yikes.
because they went into emergency surgery. So that's probably, well, that not probably, that is the most crazy story I've seen in the clinic.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so nothing like coming in with a brain bleed and having to send them out.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. So how is what's the appetite for cash pay right now in the Valley, for example?
Yeah, so it's increasingly becoming more popular. I
Okay.
think with everything that's kind of gone on with our nation and some of the things with the insurance company, I think people are starting to realize that it's not the best way to go all the time. And if you have the ability, the quality of care is actually outside of that, where they can spend time with you. So it's definitely there. It's just you have to find and attract the people that care about quality more than just using the insurance just because, and then going through
Right.
the motions of, oh, this is what I was told to do, instead of, like, most of the people I get, they've tried everything else, and so we're kind of like a last option.
Okay.
And that is like a majority of the people that we see,
Really?
dealing with like chronic low back pain. So we specialize in former athletes and high end professionals, so very driven people that really use exercise and sports and stuff as a stress relief.
Right.
Um, they're past the days of being, in their prime, but they still have that drive and that competitiveness to them. And so these people, they're different with how you have to rehab them. One, because of their mentality around things, but two, they have to be able to tolerate so much more to get back to be able to do the things that they love. So those people, what they go through usually is a cycle where things get a little bit better, they do more, and then they get hurt. And then it's this nice loop, and then it kind of spirals downwards. And
Okay.
then pretty soon they can't do anything that they want to. And they don't know how to, like, we're very like all or nothing. Like, we're just gonna go, 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 push through the
Right.
pain, but then that doesn't work. Or then we rest completely and then that doesn't work.
Right.
So
Right.
these types of people, they need more accountability and they need structure on how to ramp appropriately, and then to be
Okay.
able to actually tolerate more. So it's more about attracting the right type of people that are looking for that type of quality and very specific niche, they're more than willing to pay for you to fix their problem.
Sure. Sure.
So,
What are some common problems?
so low back is probably the number one.
Okay.
So chronic low back pain,
Does it
chronic knee
impair their
pain.
ability to play or twist or just to function, to walk? They hurt it somehow and they're all jacked up.
Usually it's by the time they come to us, it's because they're, like you were saying before, the threshold.
Hmm.
It's bad enough that it took away something that they love or that they can't function without doing. Most of these people, they're not like unable to do anything, but they're
Okay.
unable to
They just
do.
can't swing a golf club properly anymore.
Yeah, and then that really messes with their mental health, right? And then they become more angry and all this other
Sure.
stuff that comes from it. But yeah, that's kind of the majority of what happens is they lose the most important thing to them physically,
Okay.
and then they try to do something about it, or they've already done a bunch of stuff for it and they haven't been able to be successful.
Okay. What are things people try? Do they go to get a massage a few times and they go see the chiropractor and like, oh, this isn't working?
Yeah, those are probably the most common. Also, if they've seen traditional PT, that's another common one. Um, they'll do injections, cortisone injection. Those didn't work. They'll do a round of steroids. They'll do like ablations and these other things that they'll do in the pain management world. Um, yeah, PT, chiro. What's another one? Massage, acupuncture.
Okay.
They'll try the whole gambit, and usually those things will help, but they don't get them back.
So what does Corrective do beyond traditional PT?
So we are very focused on loading tissue. So right, like you talked about, there's a threshold for when you'd seek out somebody.
Right.
There's a threshold for what your tissues can tolerate, right? So there's most of the time the pain generator is because you can't tolerate a certain amount of force or load to that tissue. Now,
Okay.
when you have chronic pain, your body becomes hypersensitized to the area, which makes it even lower, and that changes how like you have to be able to perceive if it's bad or not. That's a whole
Your
nother rabbit
Well, your
hole.
nervous system goes into like a protective mode, right?
Yes.
I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
reflex or not, but it's
Yeah. But essentially, that's what it does. It's in protect mode. So then it shuts everything down and then it doesn't want any stress to the area. But what you have to do over time is get it to tolerate more and more.
okay.
So
Recalibrate.
yeah. And then you get your threshold higher. And the higher you can get your threshold, the less likely you are to reach your pain level. And if you can get it so high that none of your daily or normal activities that you do, you're not going to be in that pain threshold
Yeah,
anymore.
aggravating it.
Yeah. But like the problem with people that do higher level activities is their thresholds way higher because those activities are harder on the body. So you have to get it there. Otherwise, you'll just keep cycling back.
Hmm.
And that's
Okay.
what's usually not met when you go through a traditional setting or if you do these other healthcare professions because they're not focused on that. That's not their primary focus. Their focus is helping calm down the nervous system and getting that to recalibrate, which is all good, but you still need the tolerance level to build.
Right, right. Okay, great point. That's very interesting. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's like our whole philosophy and
okay.
what makes us different than other people.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you only have a visit or two, people go, "Oh, your hip hurts." Okay, well, let's see where it is and see, "Oh, I think it might be your I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. I'm not a chiropractor or doctor. I'm not a real one.
Labrum or
Yeah, well, what's a common hip thing on
like
the
a hip
outside of the hip?
impingement or the like gluteal tendinopathy or the what's the blanket term they call it now?
I want to say
I'm
ILS or
drawing a
whatever. Anyway,
Yeah, I
Um,
know what you're talking about. I'm drawing a
okay.
blank on the blanket
Uh,
term that they use.
Okay. Anyway, so they just give you a generic treatment and to go home and some stretches and things like that to
Yeah,
try to work it out. When really that's uh, barely treating the symptom, right?
yeah, yeah, and that will, most likely help calm it down a little bit. But then, if you go and hike,
Yeah. And then you just come.
you
Yeah.
didn't
You,
prepare it to hike,
right.
so
Exactly.
it'll just aggravate it again. Then you'll have to just repeat the system.
Okay. Okay. That's great stuff. Thank you. Okay. So
Yeah.
all right, Matthew. So um, what have you done? Totally different question. What have you done in the past 12 months that's changed your life?
Great question. Well, I would say the biggest thing I've done in the last 12 months is have an 8-month-old baby.
Aha. Yes.
That's
Congrats.
that's drastically changed our family's life. He's our first boy. We have two older girls.
Okay.
But with that, I think the other thing would be I brought on my first full-time PT back in
Nice.
March,
Okay.
which is game changer, but also adds a whole nother complexity that I am still learning how to navigate.
Right.
It's my first full time employee that, I've been a manager before, but not, it's different.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So I think that's been a game changer in a good way for me to very much elevate who I am to
Yep.
be a better leader. So I think that and 8-month-old baby, they really put
Yeah.
me to the test this year.
Yeah. Putting both together, you
Yeah.
got really
I
working your own thresholds.
yeah, exactly. I work and then I'm a dad, and that's like most of my life right now.
All right. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, do you have any exciting plans or initiatives for the rest of the year for Q4 of 25?
For Q4, so we have our big private practice conference for the PT realm. That is in November. So you get to meet with all the big heads of that are running big private clinics in
Okay.
this national conference. So that's one of the big goals. But then I'm looking to bring on another PT here in this, hopefully by the end of Q4
Okay.
or early Q1. So that's kind of our next big goal. I'm actually moving virtually. I'm doing a virtual membership coaching program instead of in person. That's what I'm moving to as we build the whole clinic as a whole.
Okay. Okay. And are you so then 26, you gonna look for another in-gym location to start growing another?
That is the plan. It depends on how fast I can scale. The two clinics I have now, I can theoretically have 6 PTs total.
Oh, okay.
So I have quite a bit of growth that I could accomplish first.
Right.
It kind of depends if there's a really good opportunity or not to expand to another one. That is most likely going to be 2027.
Okay. Are there any synergies when you have that sort of sublease arrangement?
And what manner? What
Well,
do you mean by that?
in terms of finding new clients and recruiting, you're not just using their gym, right? And you're actually providing a service to their clientele.
Yes. Yeah, to their clientele. And then, so with the gym, the reason we moved in there so early when we weren't really ready to expand yet is because we service a lot of their population.
Okay.
So we actually will be expanding our outreach to that area more. But the purpose of the locations they're actually not so far apart that they all kind of overlap. At least here initially. So I have crossover.
Okay.
That was kind of my goal here in the early stages was to have North Scottsdale, South Scottsdale, and Arcadia. So there's like a triangle of area where they all kind of overlap, where it makes it easier for people to get access to a clinic.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. Reflection question as we start wrapping things up. What do you
Perfect.
wish you knew sooner about wealth and success earlier in your career?
That is a great question. Wealth and success. So there's so many things to it. I think for me early on, I think it would have been a lot more beneficial to understand the purpose and reasoning for networking and growing and how to grow a network even before I started anything. I think that would have, because it takes a really long time to grow a vast and good network of people. So I think that would have been right, because if you have a good network, you can find more information, you can find more help, you can really leverage that to your advantage and to also help others grow. So I think it would have, starting that earlier would have really helped propel some of my career, both professionally and personally. But I think the biggest thing for me personally, what I've done is hire a business coach. And that's really streamlined my ability to actually narrow in, because I kind of got like a little squirrel brain, like there's so many things that you want to do. I think entrepreneurs are kind of, wired this way, at least it feels that way. But like we have so many ideas and things that seem like good ideas, but you can't do all of them all at once, right? You got to like hone in. So I think that's really helped me focus on what I'm supposed to be doing now and keeping the needle moving in the right direction.
Okay. Yeah, that's good advice. Some of the best, I think it was Steve Jobs, right? Another creative type who early on felt prone to all sorts of shiny objects, and then realized that no, you just focus on one thing and do it really well. So
yeah,
that's
I've read a lot about, those are like what a lot of people say. They're like, find one thing, do it really well until you can't do it anymore, and then you can add more things.
Right.
And I was like, but that's a pretty big growth thing to focus on one thing.
Yep, for sure. Okay, Matthew, if people would like to connect with you, learn more about Corrective PT, where can they go? What should they do?
So Instagram at the Corrective PT, or our website www.correctivept.com. www.correctivept. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the two places. Easy to access us.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Thank you, Dr. Matthew Brown, for joining us today. Very much appreciate you sharing your insights into industry and your journey along the way.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was awesome.
Inspired by our guests? Visit phoenixprosperitypodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.